Dear colleagues and dear participants of today's meeting of the working group YAF dialogue between Russia and Republic of Korea, I would like, on behalf of the dialogue and the forum Russia Republic Korea, to welcome you on this meeting and to say that today's relationship between Russia and Republic of Korea is developing quite good, and despite all these turbulences in the international politics, for the previous 20 years, St. Petersburg University made a lot in order to popularize the culture of the Republic of Korea in Russia. We organize the film festivals of Korean movies in Russia. We, as a St. Petersburg University, as the biggest university of Russia, included lots of novels of Korean writers into educational programs of the university in order to allow our students to get familiar with this great culture and to help them to understand the Korean culture. The same is done by our colleagues in the Republic of Korea, and we know that sometimes it's much more effective to know each other when you see the movie of each other, when you read novels, when you study together, and in the future it makes our relationship between our peoples much more stronger, and it allows us to override many problems that we face in international politics. Once again, dear participants, dear colleagues, I would like to wish you the fruitful discussions and a very good seminar. Thank you.
Yeah, dear Maria Anatolyevna, we would like you to introduce our meeting. Please hold on.
Okay, so dear colleagues, dear participants of today's meeting, I'm very glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me here at this meeting. And let me give you some few words about today's meeting and about the today's topic. So today I have the honor to welcome you on behalf of People's Friendship University of Russia, Ruden University, at the first, and this is very important, first meeting of the Youth Discussion Club. A very interesting topic, mass culture, has been chosen for this discussion today. On the one hand, mass culture is an area of interest of the society. And on the other hand, it's a mirror of the society. So the mirror which reflects important aspects of the society, of the social life of a particular state, or even in global terms. We live in the internet era. And today we can all watch the same movies, read the same books, listen the same music. But what is very important is that we can exchange views and opinions in real time. There are different opinions about mass culture, positive, obviously, and obviously negative. But it's important to understand that we are all consumers and producers of mass culture in the same time. And therefore, it's very important to exercise care and caution in this matter. We always are talking about the culture, about how our society lives. The mass culture often forms a mass view, mass fashion, mass opinions, and therefore it's very important as a base of the supporting structure of any mass culture to be classical values. which are equally protected by both Russian Federation and Republic of Korea. Today, I am reporting to you from within the walls of Rudan University. Students from 160 countries all over the world study here in this university. And what we are sure and what we know for sure is that culture and communication are in unshakable values for everyone without exception. It helps to build bridges between students while they are studying, between professionals when our students become alumni, and then between countries, between continents, and for sure between cultures. Mass culture, which is being formed all over in our university, is based on the people's friendship, and it's very important. Despite global political, let's say, problems and other situations all over the world, the peoples of Russia and Korea are getting closer to each other from year to year. Similar characters of our peoples are the basis for good interstate relations. This concludes my welcome speech, and thank you for your attention. And now I would like to give the floor to my Korean colleague, Mr. Chon Son-min, head of the Youth Dialogue Working Group of the KRD from Korea, General Director of the Puchon Youth Women's Fund. Thank you. Dr. Chon Son-min, are you with us?
교수님, 음소거 해제하셔야 할 것 같습니다.
Okay, now.
Thank you. Chairperson. Hello, all participants from Russia and Korea. On behalf of Korea-Russia Dialogue, I'm delighted to welcome all of you to the first Youth Dialogue and Youth Discussion Club. Since 2010, Korea-Russia Dialogue have carried out the bilateral youth exchange program named Korea-Russia Youth Dialogue and Youth Experts Seminar to cooperate with each other to develop youth policy. And now we are about to launch one more meaningful project. It is expected to improve intercultural communication between young people, both of Korea and Russia. Please enjoy this unique experience in terms of diversity of culture as well as of humanity. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to give my special thanks to Secretariat, both of Korea and Russia, for cooperation to launch of this event. Thank you. Thank you all.
So, Mr. Chon Son-min, thank you very much for your speech, for your presentation. And I really hope that our colleagues and all the participants of today's meetings will really enjoy this meeting, will share their opinions about the interesting point today's. So let me, well, now I would like to introduce the key reporters of today's meetings. We have two key reporters. Let me present them. Yoon Jong-jin, I think. Yoon Chon-yun, sorry. Yoon
Yes, it's right.
Chon-yun. Department of Russian Language and Literature from the Korea University. And the second key reporter will be Timoshenko Alina Alexandrovna, translation faculty of MSLU. So let's give the floor to Yoon Chon-yun. Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Well, thank you for giving us such a great opportunity for exchange. And it is also a great honor to discuss the two countries' society with Russian friends who are considered cultural powerhouses, focusing on these contents. Let me introduce the Korean participants first. There are 8 participants, and first, it's Kim Min-seo, and he's studying at the Department of Russian Language in Hankuk University of Foreign Studies. Hi. And next is Lee Jun-yeop. He is studying in Department of Russian Language and Literature in Seoul National University. And then it's Kim Byung-hoon. He's studying at the Department of Russian and CIS Studies at Graduate School of International and Regional Studies, Hankuk University of Foreign Studies, and he's master degree. Okay. And next, it's Kil Jong-hyun. He's studying at the Department of Russian Language and Literature in Korea University. And then it's Tatiana. She's studying at the Department of Russia. She is Graduate School of International Studies in Hanyang University, and she's also in master process. And it's Nuru Sultan is studying at the Department of Russia Graduate School of International Studies in Hanyang University. And the last participant is Lee Dan-bin, who is studying at the Department of Performing Arts in Hankuk University of Foreign Studies. Well, this concludes the introduction of a total of 8 Korean representatives of today, and I will give my mic to the Russian representatives. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation. So now I give the floor to Timoshenko Alina Alexandrovna, but first of all, just a few technical words. After your speeches, I will hand over the microphones to both of you, and you will moderate all the session with all our participants from both sides, Korean and Russian side. So Alina Alexandrovna, please, the phone is yours.
Hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure to meet in such great society with young people from both Korea and Russia. I hope that our cultural exchange will be successful and will give us some new thoughts, some new opportunities to learn both our countries more deeper, and I guess we will continue to communicate further and to become friends. And now I'm going to introduce participants from the Russian side. The first participant is Shpakova Daria Alexandrovna, the International Institute of Economics and Linguistics, ISU. The second participant is Novikova Maria Denisovna, the Department of Oriental Languages of the Institute of Linguistics of the Russian State Humanitarian University. The third speaker is Gubina Daria Igorevna, the Department of Korean Studies, St. Petersburg State University. The fourth speaker is Pavlov Dmitry Alexandrovich, the Far Eastern Institute of Management branch of the RUNERA. The fifth participant is Pen Irina Evgenievna, the Faculty of Arts, St. Petersburg State University. The sixth participant is Bukov Vladislav Fedorovich, the researcher of the Center for the Study of the SCO and the Asia-Pacific region. And the last participant is Sesin Dana Andreevna, the Law Institute of Rudian University. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, dear colleagues, the floor is yours. Please moderate the session.
Okay, I think I should start with my presentation. Okay, from now on, I will share my analysis and thoughts about the Russian and Korean society, focusing on two TV series, Better Than Us and Squid Game. This is my table of content, and as you can see from this plan, I've looked at how humanity is portrayed in society in both countries, Russia and Korea, especially via TV series in Netflix. Well, this humanity is in Korean, 인간성, and in Russian, человечество, which means the quality of being human. It doesn't mean not only appearance of human, but also there are other factors which make us realize that we are humans. Humanity and humanism used to be an important part of Russian literature since past. Not only What Men Live By, written by Lev Tolstoy, but also other pieces of literatures are focused on people and life itself. While we are reading those pieces, we constantly question how we should live to be a human. And some of these pieces give us guidelines too. Even though there are already many answers toward humanity since past, I still believe there should be continuous discussion over this topic. So my question for today is, what makes a person a human? And to begin with the Better Than Us, the pace of development of science and technology is very fast, and imaginations that were dreamlike 30 years ago are being realized in reality today. We are looking forward to the near future that robots help us more and more comfortably in our lives. At the same time, there is also fear that robots will advance in a short period and they may harm humans' unique territory. This anxiety causes humans to create a law of robotics, which you can see in the screen, and makes a film about the imagination that robots may dominate humans. I think one of the TV series created by that expectation and anxiety is Better Than Us. Ironically, in the movie, the robot Arisa tries to protect its family and her self-loving people. On the other hand, based on greed and wealth, Viktor Torpov, which he throws away both family and minimal humanity. And this robot Arisa and human Viktor Torpov seems to be contrasted in this series. Personally, I find humanity in empathy and good faith and love. Maybe that's why I watched this TV series and thought that Arisa was more human than Viktor Torpov. Arisa also easily became friends with Sonia, a child, but did not have the same relationship as Sonia with other adults. What was the difference between a child and an adult seen by the robot Arisa? Don't we lose our humanity as we grow up, or as we grow older, do we find this humanity? I'm curious about the interpretation of humanity by others here today. And now it's about the Squid Game, which hit really big last year. When I watched it, the participants in Squid Game, Maslow's hierarchy of needs came to my mind. The participants of this Squid Game hurt each other for survival and money. Most of the participants in Squid Game were in debt for various reasons in reality and lost hope in life. Perhaps that is why survival is a priority for them rather than finding humanity and creating a society with maybe consideration for each other. Nevertheless, some characters in the Squid Game showed altruistic appearance of caring for others rather than her own survival. For instance, like the Saebyok, who gave up one's victory and one's life for the other's desperate participant. While I'm watching this series, I questioned, can we find humanity in a situation where our survival is not guaranteed? Can people who show the instinct or primitive look in a situation where survival is not guaranteed be regarded as human or not? Furthermore, can we really say that the number one participants, the grandfather and rich people who created this Squid Game using these kinds of human instincts are more human than the robot Arisa in the series is Better Than Us? Well, I would like to conclude today's first presentation with giving a short but complex question. Can robots become humans or not? If you think yes, then which part should be filled to be a human? And if not, what characteristics, what kinds of factors differentiate a person to a human, which a robot cannot have? Well, I'm going to end my presentation shortly for more discussion. And thank you for hearing. And I will give my mic to the next presenter.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. It was really amazing, and I think it somehow corresponds with my presentation, so we'll see soon. And now let me introduce my presentation. Today I'm going to talk about the concept of the fear of death as a part of social consciousness in the Squid Game and Better Than Us series. Russian and Korean societies have many things in common. Both countries' mass media speculate on the similarity of universal values that are widespread among our nations. It makes the plot of both series resembling. Russian and Korean people think that human relationship and human lives have more value than money. They think that money rush can lead to really disasters. The most common plot twist in both dramas and the most distinctive feature of both societies is self-sacrifice. In Better Than Us, the robot Arisa decided to lay down her life to save others, and she made it consciously. In the Squid Game, the Jion decided to lose in the game and die to save Sebok as she had someone to live for. But were they afraid of at that time? Fear is a natural and integral part of any person's life. Financial instability, climate change, and even everyday events can also make us afraid. All people are different and are afraid of different things, but there is at least one fear that all people seem to have in common, the fear of death. There are several reasons for such fear to arise, and the most common are fear of something unknown and uncertain, doubts about one's immorality, loneliness, social isolation, and human separateness, and experience of facing death. In Western film art, death plays often a leading role. Many filmmakers show the viewer a traditional image of it, using concepts of non-acceptance, struggle, and inevitable outcome. In Christianity, the fear of death is often replaced by the fear of punishment for sins committed while alive. However, a feature of Eastern film art is the acceptance of death as a part of life. The worldview of Eastern people has been influenced by Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. And attitudes toward death were also shaped by these beliefs. So they think that death is a natural process, or it is determined by human karma, and death is followed by a new birth. And now I'm going to discuss this aspect as a part of psychological theory. The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung says that all people wear psychological masks. The mask is the public face of a person seen by others. We choose which mask to wear, we decide with whom we want to interact and with whom we do not. The mask hides our vulnerabilities, weaknesses, and shortcomings. Even every time you draw a line between who you are and who you are not, you also lay the basis for a potential conflict for the mask and the shadow. According to Jung's theory, we psychologically distance ourselves from behaviors, emotions, and thoughts that seem horrible and dangerous. And such thoughts can include the fear of death. And now let's take a look how these phenomena have appeared in Russian and Korean series. Better Than Us is the first Russian series released under the Netflix brand. The action of the film takes place in the near future. The Kronos Corporation, specializing on the sales of androids, have bought a Chinese robot Erisa, which were empowered with the unusual ability to emphasize. But there is another side to the coin. Unlike other androids, she tends to ignore the basic laws of robotics. She escapes from Kronos and meets a common family, and when she wants to settle in her new house, a hunt for her begins. But the main characters of the series are not robots, but people who surround it. People who are ready for any actions and sacrifices to achieve their goals. In this situation, we encounter the phenomenon of the mask. Each of the characters choose a particular role in a particular situation, a mask that hides his or her vulnerabilities. A good example of it is the main antagonist of the series, the head of Kronos, Viktor Toropov. In relations with his wife, he is an insensitive cold fish. With his father-in-law, he is a flatterer. And at work, he is a tough boss who treats everyone, even his friend, as a garbage. But no one knows that behind all these masks is a grief-stricken father whose son died several years ago, and a man who tried to restart his life but received no support from his loved ones. His other mask is a ruthless killer and manipulator, capable of destroying the lives of all who would oppose him in the pursuit of his goal. In contrast, the protagonist of the series, Georgy Safronov, puts on masks to protect those around him rather to harm them. Most of his masks do not conflict with his self, but enhance it. The caring father who is ready to die for his family, the brave warrior who is not afraid to challenge the very evil, the talented doctor who never forgets about his mission. All the social roles characterize him as a strong-minded man who, unlike Toropov, doesn't break under hard circumstances, but becomes stronger. He often commits thoughtless things, but they are dictated by his desire to protect the lives of innocent people, no matter how hard it would be. Our fear of death plays an important role in the story. Toropov and his accomplices manipulate people by threatening to kill them, thereby forcing people to confess to things they have not done, to commit acts which conflict their own beliefs and moral standards. And who's Erisa? Is she an assassin or a benefactor? Throughout the series, the viewer wonders about Erisa's true intentions and tries to figure out how she thinks and what motivates her. Behind the android metallic shell is a unique system that allows her to behave as a human, and more than that, to become human. In the series finally, she commits an act that is only human. She saves everyone at the cost of her own life, and she shows us what it means to be human. The situation with her is similar to the situation with Jion and Sebok, when Jion saved the life of Sebok, and she showed us what it means to be human. As for the Squid Game, in the series, the characters wear masks both figuratively and literally. Physical masks hide the identity of the wearers, and in some cases are intended to depersonalize people, and in other cases to emphasize their individuality. At first glance, the costume and the mask doesn't play a special role in the creation of the story, but it's a direct symbol of the dehumanization of the characters, creating a hierarchy where the life of the high ranks are more important than the lower ones. Speaking of the uniform as a costume, we realize that it is an obvious form of control, and it also leads to the dehumanization of both players and guardians. And now let's discuss psychological masks. Almost all the characters in the Squid Game have to hide their nature behind masks, and the masked stereotypes enters the scene. For example, Chosanu hides behind the mask of a kind and decent man, an intelligent leader who got into the game due to an unfortunate set of circumstances. But under the influence of fear and desire to survive, the character's shadow is exposed. It turns out that he is able to lie, betray, and kill. Even in his life before the games, he lied to his mother for a long time, hiding his crimes. Another example is Oil Nam, the player number 1 and part-time game organizer. He pretends to be one of the players because he wanted to go back to his happy childhood. But he turned out to be the one who, over the years, condemned several thousand people to death, hiding his nature under the mask of harmless and helpless old man. The series, both Russian and Korean, asks the viewer the same question: what is the price of human life, and can it be valued in money? And I would like to mention one more South Korean series, The Hellbound. The story tells us about people manipulating others using their religion, beliefs, and fear. As we can see, the theme is very popular in Korea, and the reviews in Korea are always brilliant. But when we look for the comments of Russian users, we notice that at least half of them didn't understand the plot and the main idea, as we have different views on the same topics. But despite the differences between Western and Eastern cultures, we're united by the simple truth: every person's life on this planet is priceless. And yet, each of the three works bring us to a situation where the focus shifts. In this series, there are characters who are obvious to the pricelessness of human life, both others and their own. Fear is often the catalyst for this kind of behavior, including the most important, the deepest of our fears, the fear of death. Under the pressure of fear and their shadow, people are willing to risk their own lives and sacrifice someone else's. The mask becomes one of the ways for people to cope with their fears and difficulties, but at the same time, it depersonalizes and leads to negative consequences. The mask can be put not only by oneself, but also on another person, inhumanizing him or her, reducing his whole personality. For example, the organizers of the Squid Game called participants not by name, but the number, like horses in the race. While in Better Than People, there are bots whose existence is just to perform certain functions. We see how some of the characters, such as children of the main character, sympathize with the bots as real-life humans. On the other hand, the main antagonist is equally contemptuous of both robots, whom he calls goods and humans. But I think that only the individual can determine the value of his life. And we should also remember that life can end very quickly, and we should understand the main value of our lives. Thank you.
Yes, dear participants, so let's start our discussion, and I would ask our reporters to moderate this discussion part. So first, let's give word to Korean side. Yes, please.
Is there anyone who wants to? Oh, first of all, thanks for your presentation. It was really great to hear about the death and the mask and how people act in front and back in these two series. And it was interesting that it connected to my presentation also about that humanity part. And I think there are some Korean participants who want to continue this talk. Is there anybody? Please raise your hand if you want to speak. Continue. Okay, I think Kim Min-seok will continue.
Yes. Can you hear me,
Yes.
all of you? First of all, I'm really inspired I was really inspired by both of your speech. Thank you for your presentation. Okay. I just want to say something about androids and humanity, because the title of the Russian drama is Better Than Us, which is in Russian, Lучше нас. So we could see that Sonia, Arisa wanted to protect this family, and it was really compared with the villains in the drama. So actually, we think Android is perfect because we think that they don't make mistakes. They just act as they are programmed, but actually it's not the reality is not like that. I think what artificial intelligence is superior than human is that they don't feel hunger, they don't feel fear, as you said in the presentation, and they don't have anything such as masks because they are just acting as they are programmed. So they're really different from human because they don't feel fear or hunger, and they don't want to do something that is not programmed. But if they don't feel fear or fear about death, they can't just consequently they can't understand human. They can't live on a same level as human. So Arisa acts differently than she's programmed to protect her family. Maybe she is not acting as she's programmed. But if we program the fear and hunger and such like that to Android, they will just compete with humans for money and food, like in Squid Game. So as Android become closer to human, they will just do what villains do in those movies. So my conclusion is that we don't have to make perfect androids because as they become more closer to human, they will just be one of us. So I think we would have to focus on the humanity itself. We would have to care for others, like Arisa did in the Better Than Us. So Yeah, that's my conclusion. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. And now I would like to give the floor to Shpakova Daria.
Yes, hello. I'm really glad to be here today. Nice to meet you. I found out some more interesting thoughts after watching your great presentations. Thank you. So I would like to continue the idea, talking about the question that was in the first presentation. I agree with the previous speaker, and I think that even if Arisa could broke the rules just to help her family, or even develop in some ways, it doesn't mean that the robot can become a human just because of some reasons connected with the emotions. In my point of view, robots can just copy some reactions and become a similar thing, but not a human. For example, they just will behave differently in situation where a usual person can behave not really the right way, but the robot has some comments that lead him. So in conclusion, I would like to say that, yeah, the robot can become a human just to copy some reactions or emotions. Thank you.
Thank you, Daria. Well, I agree in parts, because before I watched This Better Than Us, I thought robots just mimic, they just copy human. But this robot Arisa was really special, that it was over my imagination, I think. So maybe I caught that kind of question, but I really agree with your idea. And I will give the next Korean floor to Kil Jong-yeon.
Hello, everyone. It's been an honor to participate in this forum, and thank you for both presenters to present a nice presentation. And I want to share my opinion about two presentations. I was very impressed by the analysis in a psychological term, in point of view, like the shadows and mask. And I thought that two presenters says the fear of death was the main motive of action in common. So I think that I think in the two series there definitely exists some very motive of action to overcome the fear of death. In Squid Game, the shadows was the motive of the action, that is the action that is fear of death. But I think in the Squid Game there definitely exists an effort to overcome the fear of death, like in the Song Gi-hun, for example, he has he has a family with a daughter and he's in his mother, and also Sebyok, she has a little brother who really take care of him a lot, and also in the Squid Game the characters think of their family and they try to overcome the fear of death, and they really strive to win the game, to be proud of their families, or to make their family happy, and also to protect their family. And in the Better of Us, otherwise the main character I forgot the name of the main character, Gorbachev. Yeah, actually, the main character of Zapronov, for example, he tries and strives a lot to protect their own family, like Allah and Sonia and her son Georg, and also Alicia. And also Alicia is made to protect their own family, who is the Sapronov's family. And in the terms of effort to overcome the fear of death, I think the family is the main. I think the family is the main point that both series has in common. So I want to listen to other panels' opinion that about the family in the series, the concept of family in the series, which I think it is a motive to overcome the fear of death. Thank you for listening my opinion.
Thank you for your opinion. I agree with you. As for me, the main treasure in our lives is our family, and we can do everything to protect it. And if it means die, we will die. So your thoughts are very, very meaningful. And now I'm going to give the floor to Maria Novikova.
Hello, it's a great honor for me to participate in this discussion, and I'm really glad to meet all of you here. It's really interesting to hear other opinions because this series, Better Than Us and the Squid Game, may be explored from different sides, like humanity, fear, psychological mask, and others. And it's really exciting to discuss it here. Well, I would like to start with the Squid Game. I think there is no need to discuss the plot of the Squid Game. I was strongly impressed by the series. I guess all Korean cinematography fans would agree that it was something absolutely new. The series included parts of Korean culture, like the games players need to participate in when trying to survive. Along with traditions, it was also possible to include a social aspect. Well, I would like to say about bankruptcy was a theme that gathered characters in one place. With the development of the plot, other characters explain to us why they went here and why they agreed to participate in such an event. Well, and I remember one of them says that it's not better outside. So while outside they have no chance to live better lives. Inside, they have a chance to get money and to survive, and their hope leads them to the game that can kill them. When a person is desperate psychologically, he or she is ready to do anything to get out of it, and that is about society, and the Squid Game also gives us examples of it. Moving on the next series, Better Than Us. Well, this series also included a traditional part of native culture, Russian culture, as well as social aspect. Creator gives us an image of Russia, of the future. Well, robots have already become a part of daily life. They do human work and even know human sayings. Georgy Safronov is a main character, and his lives, his troubles involve us in further events, and gives us a story of other characters. But the character who impressed me more was Arisa. When we first hear that a robot can understand humans' feelings, that was a little impressive, but not really convincing. But the way she could understand her family feelings, like Sonia and other members of family, she reflects the ideal, something that people so often lack. Arisa once says, why are people so irrational and always do things that are harmful for them? No one can explain why people do that, and that is a problem of all society. People often do things that are harmful for them. Becoming more and more human, Arisa also begins to do everything irrationally, thus moving further away from the ideal and turning into a bigger human. And yeah, I think the answer to the question, can be robots like human, will be yes. I really agree with that, because Arisa was a robot that really impressed me, because we can remember the moment when she started like to restart, and all members were asking why she is off, but the creator of Arisa says that it is the part of her development. It is a step for her to be more human. And if talking about what Arisa lack for to be a human, I think that the answer will be a psychological mask Alina was talking about, because robots are more straightforward. They tell us the truth. They do not try to hide their thoughts, and well, that would be a thing that robots lack to be a human. Well, and to sum up, I would like to say that the formation of this series is a part of popular mass culture has become a great success, which allows us to look at society and think about its problems. I hope this will be a step towards the success of overcoming social problems, because we can, after watching it, we can think about us, about what we should change for better. If we do not keep silent about it and discuss it and try to stop it, it will be successful. And I was really pleased to meet you here discussing. This will become a great experience for me. Well, I guess that is all. Thank you.
Thank you for the words, and I really appreciate the words that I also didn't watch it as a show, but as a close future, because both Russia and Korea are science and technology powers. We're really strong in those fields, so it may be not that far away future. It may be a close future. So I think that's why I didn't watch it as just a TV series, but maybe it can be real society in nearby or something like that. And I will, and the next floor is open to Lee Dambin.
Hello, can you hear me? First of all, thank you for a great presentation and amazing opinions. I prepared my discussion about humanity, and let me start. Why don't we take a different approach to humanity? It seems that we often think about humanity with a specific answer. People who are often described as villains act without altruism or mercy. Viktor Todorov may be the most representative case in Better Than Human. However, what makes human, it would be a human's personality that cannot be identified or limited by algorithms. I recently learned about Bastian, so I borrowed his words. A man never coincides with himself. One cannot apply to him the formula of identity, A equals A. In Dostoevsky's artistic thinking, the genuine life of the personality takes place at the point of non-coincidence between a man and himself. At his point of departure beyond the limits of all that he is as a material being, a being that can be spied on, defined, predicted apart from its own will at second hand. This quotation is in the book Problems of Dostoevsky's Politics, page 59. According to Bachin, personality cannot be finalized. Humans have the potential and capacity to have to change their whole life or behavior throughout their entire lives. Like Minso already said, if robots with superior technology and knowledge are given this personality, they will become much more destructive and fearful than humans. So the point is, a person can change his or her behavior and thought at any time. Yes, we still prefer stories about people who put the values of love, goodness, and family first. Sorry. And of course, we should hope the world to be filled with such people, but it is also humans who can be malicious and destructive. Arisa is programmed with free will, but she did all things just for protect and maintain her family. But what about humans? They can sometimes act family-centered, and sometimes they can act to gain money or fame as their top priority. So here is my conclusion. Robots can be better than people, but cannot be human. Man can dedicate himself for others and at the same time can destroy others. That's why human beings are still amazing and special. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that the problem of humanity and inhumanity is very controversial, and it gives us a lot to think about. So I guess further participants will also comment on this topic. And now I'm going to give the floor to Gubina Daria.
Hello, everyone. First of all, let me thank the Dialogue for the organization of this meeting. I hope it will become a good start for such activities. And I'm really amazed by the fact that each of us found something unique watching the same series. That is why I also feel so inspired communicating with the counterparts. First of all, let me say thank you to Lidam Bin. Thank you for the remembering of Dostoevsky. I'm really amazed by your deep knowledge of him. And thank you to Yoon Dong-yoon. I'm your follower. I'm a huge fan. Yes, so thank you for all work that you do to connect Russia and Korea. Well, speaking about the series, I will be honest, I didn't heard about the Better Than Us before and was quite skeptical about it. And I was quite surprised. And I'm going to admit that this series is rather good to, as an attempt to think about how our world would look like with the robots. What I liked about the plot is that the authors created the system of laws and regulations concerning robots. For example, that robots cannot do crimes and especially kill people. And I believe that this is one of the most important aspects in the topic of our possible future with the robots. What I also noticed is that Arisa is really the only robot who tries to replace a human being, while other robots are used as the helpers for elders, as house workers, and so on. And probably this is exactly why some of us want to implement the usage of robots in real life. But I believe that the strong disadvantage for me of this series is the back scene, because it's quite different from the Russian reality, especially the hospitals, maybe the apartments of the middle class people. And at the same time, I believe that this is a great advantage of Squid Game, because the series touches the current problems of Korean society, such as immigration problem, North Korean refugees, the mafia. Well, we can also see the mafia in a Russian series, the poverty of elders. And this is how the series on social topics should look like. To be honest again, I'm not a huge fan of Squid Game, but I really appreciate such a huge work that has been done to create it. And it is a really banger and another successful example of Korean wave. In Russia, we talk a lot about the image of our country in other countries, and international intercultural exchange is often discussed as a key point and a main instrument for improvement of our state's prestige. And I believe that we can learn a lot from South Korean society, especially in the sphere of middle power. And the younger generation of Russia is eager to show that our country has not only classical literature and classical music, of course, we are very proud of it, but also a modern one, developing science and modern technologies. And I believe that we can do this through such instruments as mass media and serials, for example. So thank you again for your invitation and for your attention. That is all I have to say.
Thank you for your words, and I'd like to say that I also fell in love with Daria Kubina for your words. And I think it will be good to share about each other's images, Russia's image and Korea's image, and how we each other think about the two nations through the rest period of time. And I will give floor to Kim Byung-hun.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Thank you
Hi.
for giving me opportunity to share my opinions with you. I would like to share two things that I felt after watching Better Than Us. After watching this series, I thought a lot about the future with robots. As you know, development of science and technology has changed human life in a rich and convenient way. However, there have been discussions since before that science and technology development has a negative impact on human life. In this respect, socioeconomic problems were considered. What I observed in the series was that human labor was replaced by robots. In the series, robots were in charge of simple labor such as running errands and caring for the elderly, to complex labor such as production and assembly. Furthermore, the company Kronos is trying to replace more jobs with robots through early retirement project. This kind of job replacement by robot will lead to a widening gap between the rich and the poor as robot companies and a small number of scientists continue to accumulate wealth and the majority of people lose their jobs. The second thing I was curious about was the title of this series. In the title Better Than Us, I thought about what part of Arisa is better than human. As soon as Arisa first appears, she murdered, and she thinks she should remove characters who pose a threat to her registered family. These things can be viewed as love, dedication, or sacrifice, I don't know, for family, but I wondered if she resembled human selfishness that could do anything for one purpose. Therefore, I think this title is a paradoxical expression of human nature through a human-like robot called Arisa. Here's my question. Do you think Arisa is better than us? If yes, in what ways do you think Arisa is better than us? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your speech. And as for me, I can't say whether Arisa is better than us or she doesn't, because there are so many aspects that are deeper than we can think for the first glance. And I get this question should be searched more deeply. And I think maybe other participants will answer your question. And now I'm going to give the floor to Pavel Dmitry.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Nice to participate in this event. And let me introduce my analysis of the Russian and Korean TV series, Squid Game and Better Than Us. Both series raise the problem of modern society, the life of ordinary person, and the role of capitalism in organizing life. If we talk about human life, both films show the similarity of Russian and Korean problems. These are financial difficulties, problem in the family, the problem of life choice, and other. When I watch this TV series, I see in these movies a few issues. At the first is poverty and greediness. Because of capitalism, people ended up in office slavery. The main goals were the pursuit of money. This leads to the facts that human life is ensured. The second, the role of politicians and its impact of the life of an ordinary person. The series shows that big money and violence have a close relationship. If the choice is reputation or human life, the people are ready to go against morality. At the third, the series raises the problem of social stratification. The poor get poorer, the rich get richer. If a poor person gets a lot of money or power, he cannot use it properly. Person who has problem in life, including financial ones, cannot perform adequate actions. In conclusion, I want to say that these films, Russian and Korean films, show in spite of conditions of life, it's necessary to respect and value human life. Thank you.
Thank you, Pablo, Dmitry, for your words. That, well, I really agree that the series showed the problems of capitalism really well, and it a little bit exaggerated how we think about those money and capitalism. And now I'm going to give the floor to Junyap Lee.
Hi everyone, I'm Junyap Lee from Korea, and I'm so surprised how well you watch the series and how good your ideas are. Today, as I understand, you all are quite interested in what makes human being and what a human being is how a human being is different from a robot, and if a robot can be a creature somewhat like a human being. But before that, I want to ask you a question I had after watching the series Better Than Us. In the series, as I understand, Arisa is somewhat described as a positive and so-called good bot, right, than other bots. Arisa understands human being, and Arisa reads the emotions of human beings, and she somewhat she tries to she tries to mock or replicate the emotion of human being. And what I wonder is that good? Is that truly good? I mean, in the series, Arisa is described as a better bot than other bots. So, like, how to say, some common bots helping human beings and so on. But in my opinion, although it is technically impossible or merely possible to make such a creature, such a robot in the future, I don't think that making such a robot is a good thing for human being. I mean, if a robot starts to feel like human being, and if robots start to think as a human being, then from that point of time, it is impossible for us to control them. they will start to move, think together as they want, and that will be out of our control. So then that way is not a good way for human being. I think so. So my question was, is Arisa really truly good for human being? Is Arisa truly good robot for human being itself? Is it okay for us to make such a robot who thinks, who feels, and who behaves like a human being? I want to hear any thoughts of yours about this question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I guess all participants will soon share their opinions about these questions, but as for me, I think it's really scary to develop a robot which is like a human, because if we can control them, they can just kill all humans, so human race won't exist anymore. So I guess we shouldn't give so much freedom to robots. And now I'm going to give the floor to Irina Pen.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? I would say thank you for your presentation, firstly, and let's talk about robot. Can robot be a human or etc.? I think in a robot has a quality which doesn't have a people. It's trust. For example, Arisa has a trust in the people, especially in your family. This quality makes her more human than us. But also, I think she doesn't have a morality than people have, because she's murder. She can kill the people, and it's awful. But I think if the robot can develop, the robot can learn the morality qualities from the people, and I think yes, the robot can be human. And I would say also about Max or Shadow phenomena. I think people are starting to wear masks for start to wear masks for protection. For example, Sabok from the Squid Game does this for his family, because yes, she maybe doesn't have trust, but it's for protect, and it's also makes her somewhat similar to Arisa. And survival is mainly driven by the desire to protect oneself in society. It can be said in Grigory and Kihun have similar goals. It brings these characters together, but also discover two personality in different situations. In conclusion, I would say a robot can be human because they can develop, and she is very important. Yes, we can control them, but I think we can control the robot because we can learn them about the things. And yes, I would say to that people often wear masks because about in both series, people have similar problems in different situation. It's protect for one personalities. Yes, sorry for that. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for the speech. And I partly agree that robots can be human, but I wish they will not take over all the human territories and we can stay as human even if the robots develop. Now I will give the floor to Tatiana.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm really excited to participate in this discussion with you guys. All of you are so smart and have so various opinions, which is very valuable, I think. And I would like also share my opinion on how I see both societies, since I'm Russian and now currently live in Korea. So I can share some ideas, like what kind of societies we can see, what kind of issues they have through the prism of these two series. So yeah, I think we can see a lot of examples of inhumanity in Better Than Us series. So we can see that boats have taken on many of the responsibilities that humans used to take on. And robots carry heavy loads like babysit and many things. Also, we can see examples of how male characters in the series like blinded by their lust for power and put their ambitions ahead of like other people's lives. So I think selfishness knows like no bounds. And yes, I think we can consider robots to be human, including the main character of Better Than Us series, Arisa. And I would like to raise another important question for you guys. Like, if we consider her like a human, then what is like for her to be a woman? Because, you know, I think Arisa is not just locked in the closet of that girl who took her. She is also locked in a female body and like behaves as her creators see, like a woman. And I think this also can be considered like sexist sometimes. So yeah, also Squid Game, you know, despite that South Korea is an OECD country with so high income and cost of living, which is much higher than Russia, like many commonalities we can see here, including like miseries of poverty or this perception of women's capacities as well. So, for example, do you remember that the main character, Sang-woo, who was like the smartest guy, graduated from Seoul National University, he like asked the teammates to bring back men to complete the team. But, you know, most women have met many such scenarios in their life saying like, men play better than women. So I think it's also interesting topic to discuss. And to conclude, I think both areas reflect the fact that despite this era of automation, artificial intelligence, like gender remains a prominent social barrier still, and even in these areas. So I think this issue will not go away on its own. And I think we should also consider the issue to proceed more in like economic development. So I think all of these issues are connected. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that economic issues are really important, and of course, and social and economic issues are mentioned in both theories. For example, the pension reform in Better Than Us and the gap between poor and rich in the Squid Game. So I guess we have a lot to think about it. And now I'm going to give the floor to Vladislav Burkov. Vladislav, are you here?
Yeah, dear colleagues, let's move on. Maybe Vladislav will join us later. Right now, I would ask you, would like you to introduce next participant from Russia, so Vladislav could participate in the end. Yes, thank you.
Okay, then let's listen to Sesina Dana.
It seems that both participants are not here, so we can move on with Korean participants. Dear Yoon
Okay.
please.
Yeah, okay. I will give the next floor to Kil Jong-hyun. Is it okay with you?
Yeah, it should be the honor for me to speak again. Can I share my screens for a while? I want to share some phenomenon in Korea, because I think the problem, the issues or social issues and the topics from the Better Than Us can be applied in our real society, because in Korea there are some kind of phenomenon or the concept of virtual human or virtual influencers that is now very famous in the Korea. The virtual influencers are on the TV commercials or the TV banners, and also they share their opinions through the SNS, and they chat with ordinary people like we humans, and they also sympathize our feelings and for example, okay, so I want to share my screen of a virtual influencer, and I want to ask to Russian panels of that, is there any similar phenomenon in Russia like in Korea? So I want to share my screens. Can you look at this Instagram account? Does she look like a real human or just a virtual human? And I think she seems like a real human that exists in the real world, but actually she is designed a virtual influencer in the screen. So like for this example, and in Korea there are some AI. As the technology developed, there are some AI chatbots, like for example the Iruda, which can be a friend with others in the online. They could be a friend. They could be a friend to others. The AI learned the chat things, learned and collected the chat things, and through the data, she or he can communicate with others very well, like humans. They can all even sympathize with others. Like if I have a worry, if I have a concern or worry, then I tell and I chat on the AI chatbot that the chatbot called Iruda can make an advice for me or really sympathize for me like that. So even like in this Better Than Us, the film Better Than Us, the Jedushka, the grandfather, and also the Sonia really take care of the robot as a human being, and also the part of our family, and you really think of the robots as a real people. So I want to ask that if in this real society there must be some people who really really think the AI chatbots or these virtual humans as real human beings, and they are very they might think that they are very intimate to them. So so to those people who really think of them as of human beings, or of friends or family, that's family, then what do we have to think about them? Or in the terms of the film, when it's the film, is it something different between this phenomenon, the people who think of the chatbot as a friend, and grandfather and Sonia who really think of robots as their real family and friends? I want to ask the questions to the Russian panels. And also for the second question, is there any social phenomenon or the concept of virtual humans or virtual influencers that are now in Russia? I want to ask to panels. I really appreciate if you reply to the question.
Well, I can ask your second question. Yes, there is such phenomenon in Russia. Her name is Anna, and she's a virtual actress. So she also has an Instagram blog, and she takes interviews with celebrities. So she's like a Korean girl.
Thank you for your information.
Yeah, dear participants, we're afraid that Vladislav and Dana can't join us, so let's continue with Korean participants, or if Russian participants want to answer questions or give their questions, we invite you to do it, please. Yeah.
Is there any Korean or Russian participants want to continue talking? We don't have much time left, I think.
Yes, maybe Nursultan can say something about this series and his opinion, if it's possible.
Can I share my opinion?
Thank you, Chunyap.
To be honest, it's not an opinion. It's kind of my own analysis that I got after watching the Squid Game. I watched the Squid Game last year, and after watching it, I got an interesting insight, kind of an insight. I suppose all of you watched Squid Game, right? And do you remember the final prize of the Squid Game? It was, let me type here. It was 45.6 billion Korean wons. So, yeah. And Gi-hun, who was the winner of the game, got all of the money. What I was interested in was that at the first series, I suppose, the how do I say, how should I call him? The game introducer. I don't know how to call him. The introducer introduced the game, and when he was introducing about the final money prize, he told the he said that 100 million wons will be I remember the word.
45.
Yeah, I mean, every time a person dies, or every time a person gets out of the game, 100 million wons will be added to the final prize. Do you remember? So when I watched the film, when I watched the film till the end, I saw that Gi-hun, the winner of the game, got 45.6 billion wons. But the point was that Gi-hun is not dead. So the final prize should be, actually, it should be 45.5 billion wons. And the game introducer gave them 100 million wons more than it had to be, right? You get the point? So I was interested in the reason why the game introducer gave Gi-hun 100 million wons more than he had to. So my final answer was that the game introducer, who was actually the number one gamer, my final answer to the question was that the game introducer defined a human being as a man with empathy, and he defined Gi-hun not as a human being after the whole game. Gi-hun was a human being before the game, but he's not a human being after the game. So the game introducer thought that Gi-hun is dead, although he's alive physically. His mental is dead. His emotion is dead. His empathy is dead. So the game introducer just added Gi-hun's money, Gi-hun's 100 million won to the final money prize. So I think it might be a nice answer to today's topic, what makes human being a human being. I think a human being is a man with emotion, with feeling, with empathy. And most important thing would be love to other human beings. Without those things, like without emotion, without empathy, without feelings, and without love to other human beings, we are not supposed to be called as human being. Yep, that was kind of my opinion after watching Squid Game. Thank you.
Well, it's really good. It was really a good insight, and it's really awkward, or it's really interesting that at first, when I just watched it, Better Than Us and Squid Game, at the first when I first watched those two series, I thought we are going to talk a lot about the technology or capitalism or something like that. However, today we discussed a lot about humanity and like our life. I think it was more worthy, and it was really good time for me to share opinions with you guys. It was really happy and fun for me. Is there any other participants who wants to continue?
May I add my idea to Junyo's analysis?
Of course. Floor is yours.
He said that if we lose our emotions and if we lose humanity, we are not more human. Then we have to think about if androids have emotions and feelings, if they're so, then do we have to treat them as human? But actually, we are superior to androids because we make them actually. We build those programs. But if they have to be treated as humans, then maybe if we make them and change their programs as we wish, maybe that could be seems more like a new era of racism, because they're human, because they have feelings and they have humanity. So the question is that if we have to treat them as human, if they have humanity, if they learn humanity. So like Jonghyun mentioned, they're learning how to think, how to treat humans. So they're learning emotions. So we don't think them as human now, but in the nearest future, I think maybe there will be a time we have to decide whether we have to treat them as human or robots. So I think that's a really big work for us left to our generation. So like Jungyu mentioned, I also thought that today's topic would be something more like capital or technology, but I think it was a really good opportunity because we had a chance to talk about humanity. What is the difference between human who lost humanity and androids who gained humanity? Yeah, it was a really good opportunity. I really earned good insights. It was really good hearing for you guys. Yeah, thank you for everything. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say for today.
Thank you very much. I also think that our future and the future with robots or without robots, only we can decide what to do and how to live. So it's all in our hands. So I guess that the theme of robots is very actual nowadays and up to date, and we have to decide what to do next. Are there any Russian participants who want to take the floor?
May I say something?
Okay.
Well, Kim Myung-seo, thank you very much for your words. You made me think about when you said that maybe we should treat robots like human beings. I started to think, why do we make robots with human faces? Even the simplest robots, they have eyes. Well, from that robots that I saw in Korea, for example, in Incheon airport or in some restaurants, even the simplest one with this simple figures, just like square, they have something like face and then have eyes, and maybe this is us humans who can't imagine our lives with such technological improvements that are not treated like humans. Maybe it's something inside us that made us do this. Well, this is something I wanted to say. Well, thank you again to your thoughts, and also again, thank you to Ijanov for your words about that amount of money the main character received. To be honest, I've never thought about it, and your idea that he lost his humanity is something brilliant. You opened my eyes, to be honest. So thank you.
Thank you. And also Maria wanted to say something.
Yes, well, I also want to say that notice about the main characters in the Squid Game, that he is no human anymore, was really exciting, and I also even didn't notice that. And when it was saying about him, I remembered one character from Better Than Us that could be another example of a person who is not human anymore. If we talk about Viktor Toropov, the general director of Kronos, a company that produces robots, in one series, in one episode, we know about his backstory, and we know that some time ago he was like a good person who had a good child, and he really loved his wife, but when his child died, he starts becoming more and more person that is rude and cruel. We can see some episodes when he is cruel to his wife, and I think he may be one good example when person becomes immoral. He stop being human, and I think that may be one more example of humanity, and how people can easily lose it when they are desperate. Thank you.
I really feel happy that we can discuss about what kind of society we are going to make. And I think anybody can discuss something about humanity or the future society, but it's much more meaningful for us because we are youth and we are going to make the society and the future. So it's really much more meaningful time for us, and it's really a great honor to be with you guys.
Yes, I also want to thank all participants from both Russian and Korean sides. I thank you for that you have found time to participate in this conference, and you have shared so many deep thoughts about social topics of our everyday life. So I hope for our future meetings and our future cooperation. And now I want to give the floor to Acting Vice Rector for International Affairs of Rudian University, Kurka Maria Anatolievna.
Thank you very much, dear guys. It was really impressive to hear you today. And like my colleague told you, enjoy this meeting. tell you the truth, I really enjoyed this meeting together with you, because we've heard a lot of interesting information, a lot of modern information. So for us, it was absolutely we've heard something new. And thank you very much for your time, for your interest, for your opinions. You are excellent. Thank you very much for your participation. It was really cute. Thank you. So have a good day and see you at the second meeting of our club.
Yes, thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you. 안녕히 가십시오.